guys, Satisfying Football. This is your college football week 14, 3:30, 7:30 games, midday games, big games, national relevant game, conference chases, bowl eligibility on the line for some teams. Jump in right here with number 5 Alabama. It's the Iron Bowl. Alabama and Auburn. Both teams played cupcakes last week. One double A teams. Bama beat Western Carolina 66-3. Mac Jones back up. He's in for Tua Tagovailoa. 10 of 12 with 275, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, 3 catches, 101 and a touchdown, 541 total. Defense had 4 sacks, 5 turnovers, a pick 6, and allowed 179. Whereas Auburn beat Samford 52-0. Bo Nix 151 touchdown pass, 544 total. Defense had 4 turnovers and allowed 114. This is a huge game. I'm kind of in my head going maybe Auburn here, but I think Alabama has a better overall team. Mac Jones has played well in his 2 starts this season, filling in for Tua Tagovailoa. So I'm going to go Alabama here, but this should be an awesome game. Alabama still has an outside shot if they can win this, maybe to sneak into the college football playoff race, or into the playoffs. They're only 1 spot out, so they just need somebody above them to lose. I'm going to go Bama here. All right, Wisconsin and Minnesota, both in the top 12. Minnesota is actually back up to number 8. This is huge because whoever wins this game will go to the Big 10 championship game. Ohio State already has their side. Now this is the game to decide who goes to face them for the Big 10 title. Wisconsin beat Purdue 45-24. Jack Cohn 2 of 3 passing, 2 touchdowns a pick. Jonathan Taylor, one of the best to ever play, 222 rushing yards and a touchdown. And I say that because that's his 12th 200 rushing yard in his history, which is an NCAA record. And he still has at least 2 games left this week in a bowl. And if they get to the Big Ten title game, maybe another one there. And so props to him. Wisconsin put up 606 yards. They turned it over 4 times. They cannot do that against Minnesota. Minnesota will win if Wisconsin turns it over 4 times against them. Minnesota beat Northwestern 38-22. Tanner Morgan 211 passing, 4 touchdowns. Tyler Johnson 7 catches, 125 and a touchdown. Defense had 3 sacks, only allowed 223. This is going to be an awesome game. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to go Wisconsin here, though. I think Jonathan Taylor should be able to run on Minnesota pretty well. Both offenses can move it. Both defenses are pretty decent. Wisconsin all year long has basically been one of the best defenses in the country. Yeah, they gave up a lot to Ohio State. But overall there, I think this in the end, this is going to be like 30-27, 34-31, something kind of like that, right down to the wire. But I think Wisconsin is the team that will end up with the win here. Baylor taking on Kansas. Baylor had a huge win against Texas, 24-10. It clinched their spot in the Big 12 title game. Brewer, 221 passing, a touchdown, 75 rushing, and a touchdown. Denzel Mims, 7 catches, 125 and a touchdown. Defense had 5 sacks in that game. Kansas, they lost to Iowa State 41-31. They were actually up in that game and then lost. Carter Stanley 328 passing, 3 touchdowns. Puka Williams 154 rushing. They put up 493 yards. Puka Williams Jr., one of the best running backs in the Big 12 that not a lot of people know about. He's got 945 rushing this year. He may very well be able to get those 55 to get to 1,000. I'm going to put Baylor on pretty big upset alert here because Baylor has an outside shot to sneak into the playoffs if they can beat Oklahoma. If they win this game and beat Oklahoma and if teams above them lose, who knows? I'm going to put Baylor on upset alert. I'm going to pick Baylor to win, but Kansas has shown a lot under Les Miles. Their offense has been able to score on a lot of people. They've come this close to a whole bunch of upsets. So Baylor needs to watch out for Kansas in this game, but I think they will get it done. I think Baylor does get the victory. All right, Rutgers and Penn State. Rutgers is terrible. They lost 27-0 to Michigan State. Langen, 8 of 20, 57 passing yards a pick, ran for 49. They only had 140 yards to turn it over twice. Penn State coming off a close loss to Ohio State, 28-17. They didn't do a whole lot on offense, but their defense had 3 sacks and 3 turnovers to keep that close. I think Penn State, normally their offense has been pretty good this year, so I'm going to go Penn State big over Rutgers. Rutgers is pretty terrible, and Penn State is actually pretty good. All right, UConn and Temple. UConn taking a late loss last week to ECU, 31-24. Jack Zergiotis, 418 passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Cameron Ross, 8 catches, 169, 2 touchdowns. They put up 527 yards of offense, but they turned over 3 times in a 7-point loss. I'm going to shout out Kevin Mensah, the running back. He's been kind of the only bright spot the last couple of years. He ran for 1,000 yards last year, and he's at 993 right now. He's almost guaranteed to get to 1,000 yards unless some freak injury happens after like a 1 or 2 yard run. He may get it the first play of the game if they give it to him. So he should be able to get 1,000 yards there. Temple's coming in for a heartbreaker to Cincinnati. They lost 15-13. Anthony Russo, 228 passing, a touchdown, and a pick. Jaden Blue, 13 catches, 120. Defense had 3 sacks. They only allowed 210 to Cincinnati. Man, this game is everything's gone Cincinnati's way this year. Temple was down 13-0. They score early in the fourth quarter and make it 13-6. Not only does Cincinnati block the extra point, they bring it back for 2 to make it 15-6. Just a few minutes later, with 6:59 left in the game, Temple, they score a touchdown, makes it 15-13. Cincinnati actually goes all the way down. They missed the field goal that would have made it 18-13. They gave Temple the ball with a minute and a half left, down only 2 points. They needed a field goal to win, and they had a timeout. Temple throws an interception. Heartbreak, because if Temple could have won, they could have gotten into the American Athletic Championship game if other games had gone their way as well. Fortunately, they did not. However, they had a good year here. They're 7-4 this. I expect them to be... UConn's been in the last few games, but I still expect Temple to be able to beat UConn and get to 8 wins. The line is Temple by 27. I think that's a little generous. UConn, yes, they were bad. They were pretty bad. Early in the year, they played okay the last couple of games, but it's more about Temple's offense is not that good. Their defense is great. Their offense is so-so, but they still should be able to win with not a whole lot of trouble. All right, Southern Miss and Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles and the Florida Atlantic Owls. This is huge for both teams. USM, if they can win and 2 other teams lose, they will clinch their side of this USA. If Florida Atlantic wins outright their side. If Florida Atlantic loses, they need Marshall to lose. If USM loses, I think they're just out. So this is a really, really huge game for both teams. USM, they lost big time to Western Kentucky 28-10. Jack Abraham, 223, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Tim Jones, 7 catches, 159 and a touchdown. They put up 388 yards, but they turn over 3 times. They can't do that against Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic has a really, really good offense. FAU beat UTSA, Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. Florida Atlantic Owls beat them 40-26. Chris Robinson, 336 passing, a touchdown. Harrison Bryant, 10 catches, 182 and a touchdown. They put up 526 yards. They forced 3 turnovers there. This, I think, may very well be a shootout. I'm going to go Florida Atlantic in the end to win. They might just have a little too much for Southern Miss, but Southern Miss is a dangerous team. Both offenses are really good, but I'm going to go Florida Atlantic just by a hair to win and clinch their spot in this USA Championship game. All right, then on the flip side, you got UTSA and Louisiana Tech. UTSA, they can't get to a bowl. They lost to Florida Atlantic 40-26. They had 2 quarterbacks play. Jordan Weeks came in 8 of 11, 123 and a touchdown. Loan Narcisse, 86 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, plus 20 rushing yards. They put up 401 yards, but they turned it over 3 times. Shout out Sincere McCormick, the running back. He's at 867 rushing, so he will need 133 to get to 1,000, which is possible. Louisiana Tech, they've been on the side their last two games, although their starting quarterback and their top receiver, Adrian Hardy, and Jimmer Smith, the quarterback, Adrian Hardy, receiver, they were suspended those last 2 games. Unfortunately, they lost them. However, they still have a chance to make this USA Championship game if they can win and other teams lose. Louisiana Tech lost to UAB 20-14. Aaron Allen did what he could at quarterback, filling in. He passed for 173, 2 touchdowns, but they only put up 270 as a team. I'm going to go Louisiana Tech here. Should get that win to 9 games. It won't necessarily clinch clinch their spot in the USA title game because it depends on what other teams do. And the 2 other teams right there with them hold the tiebreaker over them. But I'm going to go at least La Tech should win this game, get to 9 wins, and go into a bowl and maybe get a 10-win season. All right, Boston College and Pitt. Both teams were terrible last week. Both teams got killed. Boston College got killed by Notre Dame 40-7. They only had 191 total yards. Pitt got shut out by Virginia Tech 28-0. Kenny Pickett 10 of 26 to 103. They only had 177 total yards. The defense had 3 sacks in this game. This is a big game for Boston College because they are 5-6. If they want to go to a bowl, they have to win this game. This might be kind of low scoring. I think this should be pretty even. Both defenses are pretty good. Boston College has the better running game. Pitt, I mean, their offense is weird. They just kind of score however the hell they can, really. They're not necessarily bad. They're not great. They're just kind of there. I'm actually gonna go. The line is Pitt by 9. I think that line is way too high. I'm actually gonna go BC, Boston College outright to win it. Like I said, this will be close. This really could go either way, but I'm gonna say Boston College wins it and gets to a bowl game. All right, Miami and Duke. Miami coming off a disappointing loss to Florida International. They lost 30-24. Jaron Williams 249 passing, 2 touchdowns, but he had 3 picks. Those were the 3 turnovers, and that was kind of a difference in that game. Duke lost to Wake Forest 39-27. Quentin Harris 163 passing, 1 touchdown, a pick, 39 rushing. They only had 290 yards of offense and turned it over 3 times. However, I'm going to shout out Damon Phil Johnson. He had 2 kick return for touchdowns in this game against Duke, which is what kept it close even at all. I'm going to go Miami here, though, to win. Duke has been turning over too much the last month of the year. They had a chance to get to a bowl early on in the season, but haven't been able to capitalize. Miami, yeah, disappointing loss, but I think they should bounce back, should be able to bounce back, get to a 7th win, and go into the bowl season with a winning record there. So I'm going to go Miami. All right, Maryland and Michigan State. Maryland, what the hell happened? They just fell off. They're not going anywhere. Maryland got killed by Nebraska 54-7. 4 quarterbacks played and combined 7 of 21 for 57 yards. They did run for 149, but they turned over 4 times. Michigan State, they need this win. They are 5-6. If they want to go to a bowl game, they have to beat Maryland. They beat Rutgers 27-0. Brian Lewerke 239 passing, 3 touchdowns a pick. Elijah Collins ran for 109. Cody White 11 catches, 136 yards, 3 touchdowns. Defense had 3 sacks, 2 turnovers, and only allowed 140 yards of offense. Elijah Collins, I'm going to shout out. He's at 851 rushing. He's only 149 away, which was a huge game. Would be a big game for him, but it's possible. And if he gets that, they should be able to beat Maryland. But I'm going to say Michigan State, regardless of whether Collins gets 149. I think Michigan State should be able to just beat Maryland. Anyway, Michigan State is not like the best team in the world, but with Maryland basically imploding this season, I'm going to go Michigan State with the victory. All right, Oregon State and Oregon. Oregon State coming off an awesome. They lost to Washington State, but it was an amazing game. It's one reason why I love college football. They lost with 2 seconds left, 54-53. In the 4th quarter, Oregon State was down by 10. They scored to go up by 11 within like 2 minutes, and then they ended up losing. Jake Luton 408 passing, 5 touchdowns and a pick. Jamar Jefferson ran for 132 and 2 touchdowns. Champ Flemings 4 catches, 110 and a touchdown. They put up 601 yards. Defense actually forced 5 turnovers in that game, but they weren't able to hold on for the win. I'm going to shout out Artavis Pierce, another running back for Oregon State. He's at 848 rushing. If he can pull off 152, that would put him at 1,000. That'll be hard to do because Oregon's defense has been really good all year. Oregon, unfortunately, they got upset by Arizona State, 31-28. Justin Herbert, 304 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Johnny Johnson, 10 catches, 207, 2 touchdowns. They put up 450 yards, 58 yards, but 2 turnovers by Herbert is kind of what did them in. Their Oregon's defense has been playing well all year long up until Arizona State, and Oregon State has one of the better offenses in the country. This, I think, could be a shootout. I'm going to go Oregon here. Should be able to win this game, but this is going to go back and forth, and Oregon, I'm going to put them on upset alert as well. Plus, not only is it a rivalry game, Oregon State's 5-6. They're 1 win away from getting to a bowl game, so they're going to be even more motivated than normal to get there. But I think Oregon should be able to hold them off enough to get the win. All right, Notre Dame and Stanford. Notre Dame killed Boston College 40-7. Ian Book 239 passing, 3 touchdowns, plus 66. They put up 501 yards of offense. Defense had 4 sacks, 2 turnovers, only allowed 191 yards. Stanford lost the big game against Cal, which made Stanford made them eliminated from any kind of bowl eligibility. They lost to Cal 24-20. Davis Mills 283 passing, a touchdown, 2 picks. They only ran for 61 yards in that game. Defense had 3 sacks. I don't expect them to keep it very close against Notre Dame. Notre Dame offense is on fire. Stanford, they've been very shaky at best this year, so I'm going to go Notre Dame there. All right, Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Vanderbilt coming off a 38-0 win over East Tennessee State. One double team. Riley Neal 179 passing, 2 touchdowns. Keyshawn Vaughn ran for 139 and 2 touchdowns. They ran for 220 and they put up 418 yards of offense. Defense had 6 sacks in that game. Whereas Tennessee, they've been on fire. They won their last, three or four games in a row. They actually are bowl eligible now. Who saw that coming? They were terrible early. They're 6-5 now. They beat Missouri 24-20. Jarrett Garantano 415 passing, 2 touchdowns. They had 3 receivers get over 100 yards in this game. First time in Tennessee history that's ever happened. Josh Palmer 6 catches, 124. Jawan Jennings 5 catches, 115 and a touchdown. And Marquez Callaway 6 catches, 110 and a touchdown. They put up 526 yards of offense. I expect them to keep that going. Vanderbilt, other than Keyshawn Vaughn, the running back for Vanderbilt, which he's going to be great in the NFL, I think that's about all they have for Vanderbilt. Tennessee seems to they've been rolling. I think they keep it going in this one. All right, UAB in North Texas. UAB still has a shot at making these two as a title game, if I'm not mistaken. They beat Louisiana Tech 20-14. Dylan Hopkins still filling in for Tyler Johnston. 185 passing, a touchdown, a pick, ran for 35. It was really their defense, so UAB's defense won that. North Texas unfortunately lost to Rice, which eliminated them from getting to a bowl. They lost 20-14. Mason Fine, not very good. 163 and a pick. They only had 238 yards. Defense did have 3 sacks. I'll shout out Trey Siggers, the running back. He's got 830 rushing. He needs 170. If he can get 170 rushing, they should be able to beat UAB. I don't see that happening. UAB's defense is still really good. No matter who's been at quarterback, they've been efficient enough on offense to win. And I think UAB, this will be a pretty close game, but I think UAB should get the victory there. All right, Utah State, New Mexico. Utah State, they got killed by Boise State 56-21. They were down 42-7 at halftime. Jordan Love, 229 passing, a touchdown and pick, 428 total yards, 2 turnovers there. Whereas New Mexico, they lost to Air Force 44-22. Trey Hall came in because Tavaka Tuyoti was hurt. Trey Hall, not bad, 5 of 7, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns. They ran for 268 yards against Air Force. So Utah State better be careful because Boise State ran all over them. And New Mexico, even though they're 2-9, they've shown to be able to move the ball, at least on the ground. Shout out to Amari Davis, 832 rushing. He'll need, 168 rushing yards. I just said they can run the ball. He could get it. If they get it, New Mexico should win. I don't see that happening. I think Utah State should be able to bounce back here. It might be pretty high scoring, but I think Utah State should get the job done going to the bowl season with a 7-5 record. All right, Tulane and Southern Methodist. Tulane lost a close game to UCF. They were down most of the game to UCF pretty big. They made it really tight, really close with like a minute left, but they lost 34-31. Justin McMillan, 13-27, 181 passing and a touchdown, and added 102 rushing yards. They had 402 yards of offense, but they had 9 penalties, and they had a kick return touchdown, which helped them keep it close. Southern Methodist was actually upset by Navy, 35-28. Shane Buechele, 251 passing, 2 touchdowns. They actually only had 344 yards, which SMU is one of the best offenses in the country. Defense had 3 sacks, had a kick return touchdown there. I think this will be a pretty high scoring game, pretty good game, but I think Southern Methodist bounces back and gets a win to get to 10 wins on the season. Awesome year for SMU. They were ranked. They might finish ranked in this year. Either way, they're going to a bowl, 9-win season, 10-win season. I think they get their 10th one with this one. All right, Georgia State and Georgia Southern. Georgia State, another awesome year. They had 2 or 3 wins last year, and they are already bowl eligible at 7-4. They beat South Alabama 28-15. Dan Ellington, 208 passing, 2 touchdowns a pick. Trey Barnett, 128 rushing and a touchdown. Defense forced 2 turnovers. Georgia Southern lost in a shootout to Arkansas State. They lost 38-33. Shea Wertzel, 175 passing, 3 touchdowns plus 151 rushing yards and a touchdown. They ran for 292, put up 474 yards of offense. Defense had 4 sacks and a safety. This should be a pretty good game, but I'm going to go Georgia Southern to win. They have a triple option offense, one of the best running games in the country. I think they should be able to... Georgia State should be able to move it. They have a pretty good offense too. But I'm going to go Georgia Southern here with that triple option team to get the victory over against their a budding rivalry now with a relatively young program in Georgia State. Well, relatively, they've only been around for, I think, 10 years now. And Georgia Southern, a few years ago, they moved up to 1A from 1AA. Anyway, Georgia Southern should win there. Texas A&M, LSU, possible upset here with Texas A&M. They could make... LSU's defense has been pretty bad. A&M's offense is potent enough. They're kind of dangerous. They're taking on, I don't know, LSU possible upset alert, but I don't think so. A&M coming off a 19-13 loss to Georgia. Kellen Mond 275 and a touchdown. They had -2 yards rushing in that game. LSU beat Arkansas 56-20. Joe Burrow looks like he's going to win the Heisman. 327 passing, 3 touchdowns. Clyde Edwards-Helaire 188 passing or 188 rushing, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase 6 catches, 144 and 2 touchdowns. They put up 612 yards of offense. They had 3 sacks on defense, all by one guy, Jacoby Stevens. He had all 3 of them. I think LSU should be able to take care of Texas A&M, but I think it might be pretty close, at least for the half, maybe into the third quarter. But I think LSU goes away with it. All right, Iowa State and Kansas State should be a good close game here. Iowa State beat Kansas 41-31. Brock Purdy 372 passing, 4 touchdowns and 1 rushing. Charlie Kohler 6 catches, 100 yards. Kansas State beat Texas Tech, eliminating Texas Tech from bowl eligibility. They beat them 30-27. Skylar Thompson 246 passing, 2 touchdowns, a pick. They had a kick return touchdown, forced 2 turnovers there. This is really going to go back and forth here. I think this will be a really, really fun game to watch. But I'm going to go in the end. I think Iowa State should just get the victory, get a win there. I like Brock Purdy at quarterback for Iowa State. All right, Navy and Houston, big game for Navy. They still have an outside shot of making the American Athletic Championship game. That will be determined actually the day prior to this on Friday when Cincinnati beats Memphis. If Memphis loses that game and Navy beats Houston, Navy will go play Cincinnati in the the American Athletic Championship game. Either way, Navy, they had a uncharacteristically bad year last season, going only 3-10. They're already 8-2. They could finish off. Even if they don't get that championship game, they might be able to go 9-2 here. They got the Army game and a bowl game. Maybe finish with a 10 or 11 win season, which would be awesome turnaround from last year. Navy, they beat and they had a huge upset against SMU, 35-28. Malcolm Perry passed for 162 and a touchdown, ran for 195 and 2 touchdowns. They ran for 378. And they put up 540 yards of offense. Houston's also coming off a nice win against Tulsa, 24-14. Clayton Tune, not a lot on offense here. He passed for 89, ran for 52 and a touchdown. It was really about special teams and defense for Houston. They had 4 sacks, 4 turnovers, had a pick 6, and a kick return for a touchdown in that win. I think Navy, though, should be able to take care of Houston in this one and finish here. Navy will have one more game left in the Army-Navy game in a couple of weeks, but I think Navy should be able to take it here. All right, North Carolina Tar Heels and North Carolina State. This is the final game of the midday games. Then the next video will go to prime time. North Carolina and North Carolina State. North Carolina's having a nice bounce back year. They're 5-6. If they can win this one, and Mac Brown's first year back to coaching, they will get to bowl eligibility. Sam Howell, remember that name, the quarterback for North Carolina. He's a true freshman. He already has 32 touchdown passes, which is an NCAA record for touchdown passes by true freshmen in a season. Whose record did he break? Last year, Trevor Lawrence, guy at Clemson that won a title, he had 30. This guy's already got 32 with at least this game left. If they can beat NC State, he's got another bowl game left. Watch for the future of Sam Howell. They beat Mercer. It's actually their first non-close game of the year. Their other 10 games or 9 games prior, I think they were all decided by 7 points or less. This kind of a breather against Mercer, 56-7. Howell, 152, 3 touchdowns. Michael Carter, 159 rushing, 3 touchdowns. Put up 537. Carter, I'm going to shout out. He's got 822 rushing. He would need, 178 rushing to get to 1,000. Who knows? It's possible. And Daz Newsome, 817 receiving yards, so he would need 183 receiving. I doubt either one will get that this game. But both of them could have still pretty good games anyway. NC State, unfortunately, they will not be able to go to a bowl. They lost to Georgia Tech 28-26. Devin Leary, 227 and a touchdown. Zonovan Knight ran for 100 yards and a touchdown. They put a 457. This could be pretty close, but I'm going to go North Carolina overall. I think they got the better overall team, better overall offense there. All right, so those are my midday games. Come back and check prime time. Peace.